Modern humans live the most comfortable lives in the history of the species. And yet anxiety, depression, and weakness are spreading faster than ever before in recorded time. Why are people miserable in the safest, warmest, most well-fed era ever built? His answer was simple but brutal. Comfort itself is the problem. The thing every generation has chased. Maybe the very thing slowly draining strength, focus, and meaning out of modern life. In his book, The Comfort Crisis, Michael Easter laid out a hidden truth most people refuse to face. The human body and mind were built for hardship. And removing that hardship has quietly broken something deep inside. Stay until the end, because the ancient practice Easter rediscovered, the rule he calls the Misogi challenge. And the simple shift that may rewire any tired mind in less than 90 days. May completely flip how anyone watching this thinks about their own life. But what exactly is the comfort crisis, and why is it spreading faster every single year? The comfort crisis is the slow, invisible damage that builds up when life never asks anything hard from the body or mind. Most people today walk less than 4,000 steps a day. The temperature in most homes never moves more than a few degrees in any direction. Food is delivered to the door. Entertainment is endless. Pain is treated within minutes of showing up. For thousands of years, humans were forced to chase food, walk long miles, sleep in cold caves, and fight off real threats. The body adapted to that hardship by becoming strong. The mind sharpened. Focus grew. Patience built. Resilience became a daily skill. Then, in the last 100 years, all of that hardship vanished. The body kept the same instincts but lost the daily training. The mind kept the same wiring but lost the daily challenge. The result, Easter argues, is a quiet sickness. Depression rates have tripled in the developed world since the 1980s. Anxiety disorders affect more young people today than ever recorded. Obesity has reached 1 out of every 3 adults. Loneliness is now considered a public health emergency by major governments. The crisis is not loud. It does not show up as a flood or a fire. It shows up as a slow drift toward weakness, distraction, and emptiness. But how does adding more comfort actually make someone more miserable? The human brain treats hardship as the soil where meaning grows. When the body sweats, the brain releases chemicals that reward survival. When a person finishes a difficult task, dopamine and serotonin flow. When discomfort is faced and beaten, the brain builds confidence. Take away the discomfort, and the entire reward system goes quiet. A life with no challenge is a life with no signal that anything was earned. The brain begins to scan for fake threats instead. Small annoyances become huge problems. Mild discomfort feels like an emergency. The body weakens. The mind gets foggy. Sleep gets worse. Joy gets harder to find. Easter calls this the comfort feedback loop. The more comfort a person chases, the less satisfied that person becomes. The phone, the snack, the streaming show, the heated seat, all of it slowly cuts the wiring that used to make life feel rich. But the solution Easter proposes is not just exercise or meditation. It is something much older and much harder. What is Misogi, and how does it actually rebuild the mind from the inside out? Misogi is an ancient Japanese practice with roots in Shinto tradition. The word itself means purification through hardship. Practitioners would stand under freezing waterfalls or walk barefoot across snowy mountains as a way to cleanse the mind and reset the spirit. The practice nearly disappeared in modern Japan. But it was revived in a new form by a former Navy SEAL named Marcus Elliott, who began using it to train elite athletes in California. Modern Misogi has 2 rules. Rule number 1. The challenge must be hard enough that there is a real chance of failure. Not a small chance. A real one. Around 50%. Rule number 2. The challenge cannot be a known fitness event. No marathons. No standard races. The challenge must be something the person has never done and that fits no template. A Misogi might be carrying a heavy stone underwater for a mile across a lake floor. It might be a 100-mile walk through the desert with no music. It might be climbing a mountain with no map. The point is not the activity. The point is the unknown. When a person commits to a Misogi, the brain shifts. Real risk forces real focus. The static of daily life falls away. After the challenge ends, win or lose, the brain receives a flood of meaning that no comfortable activity can match. Michael Easter took on his own Misogi by joining a 33-day backcountry caribou hunt in the Arctic with no resupply. He returned home changed in ways he could not describe at first. But the real shock is what happens to the brain after a Misogi attempt. What does the science actually say about discomfort and the brain? Researchers at the University of California found that controlled exposure to discomfort increases gray matter in the parts of the brain linked to focus, willpower, and emotion regulation. Cold exposure, in particular, releases a chemical called norepinephrine at levels higher than nearly any other activity. Norepinephrine sharpens attention for hours after the exposure ends. Heat stress, like a sauna session, lowers heart disease risk by up to 40% according to a long study from Finland. Hard physical effort releases brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a chemical that helps build new brain cells. Walking long distances in nature lowers cortisol levels for days afterward. Every form of voluntary discomfort, the cold, the heat, the long walk, the heavy load, sends a signal to the brain. Life is real again. Strength matters. The signal is the medicine the modern mind is starving for. Easter argues that one carefully chosen Misogi every 12 months is enough to keep the modern brain in working order. So how can a normal person, without joining the Navy SEALs, actually start practicing this in real life? The first step is small. Cold showers in the morning. Long walks without a phone. A weekly outdoor adventure with no map. Carrying a heavy bag uphill until the legs shake. Skipping one meal a week and feeling the hunger fully. None of these are Misogi by themselves, but each builds the muscle of discomfort. The next step is bigger. A long hike that pushes past comfort. A solo camping trip. A backpacking journey with no plan. A weekend with no screens. The final step is the real Misogi. One huge, scary, deeply uncertain physical challenge, chosen carefully and trained for over months. The kind of thing a person tells nobody about at first because the fear of failure feels too real to share. Easter believes that one true Misogi attempt every year resets the modern human in a way that no therapy, no medication, and no vacation ever could. Some people are already living proof. A software engineer in Seattle named David Carter completed his first Misogi in 2024, swimming across a freezing lake with a 30-pound weight strapped to his back. He failed his first attempt. He trained for 6 months and tried again. The second attempt nearly drowned him. He still finished. He later wrote that the next year of his life felt sharper, calmer, and more meaningful than any vacation he had ever taken. A teacher in Phoenix named Rachel Lopez completed her own Misogi by hiking 40 miles through the desert in one push. She returned home with new clarity about her career and ended up changing schools within a month. The crisis is real. The cure is uncomfortable on purpose. The body that built civilization was forged in pain, and it is now slowly forgetting how to be strong without it. And somewhere out there tonight, in the dark, in the cold, in the silence, someone has just taken the first step toward becoming who they were always supposed to be. If this hit a nerve, hit that like button and let more people find this message. Subscribe for more videos that push the modern mind back into shape. Drop a comment with the first small discomfort that anyone watching is willing to take on this week, and share this video with a friend who could use a little wake-up call.